Good morning, dear members of the EUGLO community, dear students, professors, researchers, and staff from the 9 EUGLO partner universities, dear external partners and representatives of the Alliance ecosystem. Welcome to the School of Economics and Management of the University of Porto. Welcome to the opening session of this European Symposium on Innovation in Global Health. This session will start with welcome words by Professor António de Sousa Pereira, Rector of the University of Porto.
Well, dear colleagues, the representative of the Council of the Porto, Diogo Meireles, that represents the municipality, dear colleagues from the EUGLO and our alliance partners, dear speakers, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a very good morning to all of you in the middle of the rain that in these last days as visiting us. But even with rain, I welcome you to this third and final day of the event of the European University Alliance for Global Health, of which the University of Porto is a proud co-founder and member committed to advancing transnational academic cooperation and more specifically this pioneering research and innovation project, the EUGLOHRIA project. We are just as enthusiastic, committed and motivated today as we were almost 5 years ago, driven as we are by the goal of creating the necessary conditions for the success of this alliance and for the success of EUGLOHRIA. This European research project represents a remarkable step forward and a pioneering development within the framework of the European Universities Initiative, which aims to respond to current and future global public health challenges. We are compelled, first and foremost, by our absolute conviction that research in a field as essential as this one is to the well-being of men and women in every corner of the world, benefits and will continue to benefit enormously from the cooperation between specialized research centers and from the sharing and good management of our resources and knowledge, as well as from the cooperation that we foster within the EUGLO Alliance. I said several times, and I will say it once again, it is crucial that the work we do together contribute decisively to the triumph of science and to the realization of a true alliance of scientific progress, capable of radiating knowledge around the globe and for the good of all humanity. At a time so deeply marked by uncertainty, it is yet more essential to promote, invest, and implement all cooperation efforts between knowledge centers. The upsurge of new forms of obscurantism, as well as the rise in certain movements that seek to discredit science and scientific achievements, are serious threats to the spirit rooted in the Renaissance and to a progressive understanding of the world we live in, based on a continuous endeavor towards knowledge in support of the well-being of the community. It is not only our science and evidence-based way of life that is in jeopardy, but also the essential public investment in research and innovation, which has contributed and continues to secure a core component of humanity's progress and well-being. In the face of the threats related to the advancement of obscurantism and a handful of aberrant anti-science movements, it is a responsibility of modern states dedicated to progress to send out clear signals of their unwavering commitment to the expansion of knowledge as the only way to promote the well-being of peoples and tackle the main challenges facing humanity today, from climate change to the energy transition, from global health to the equilibrium of the planet that we call home. In the pressing battle for the common good and the very survival of our way of life, universities are and must be privileged centers for the production and dissemination of knowledge, research, as well as technical, scientific, and ethical training. We must be ready to prepare current and future generations for the task of imagining and constructing our present and future collective life. The community that we hope to build will therefore depend to a large extent not only on the demands that we are able to shoulder, but also on the public capacity for continued and adequate investment in science progress, on our ability and openness to cooperation between research institutes, and on the stimulus that national and European political institutions can give to the shared and collaborative management of knowledge. Equipment and resources made available to our research centers, as well as to multidisciplinary collaboration between fields of study, of which the EUGLOHRIA project is an extraordinary example, should be a task for all of the members of this alliance. In order to fulfill their main purpose of continued service to the community, universities must be able to assert themselves through the quality of the students they educate, the excellence and innovation of the science they produce, their ability to disseminate the results of their research, and consolidation of their role as agents of progress and well-being. None of this is possible, however, without effective funding mechanisms and university autonomy. I apologize for our Ministry of Science not being here because, as you already have noted, some of these remarks are directed for her. Building universities and a community that are better able to respond to the real needs we face, therefore depends on an ability and willingness to invest judiciously and effectively in areas that are decisive for the service we provide for the common good, taking care not to waste resources or talent. Ladies and gentlemen, for centuries now, the sharing of data, resources, and scientific knowledge has been an essential condition for the progress of science and research. Science is a collaborative effort. The combined results of several people working together is often much more effective than could be that of an individual scientist working alone. If we apply this self-evident truth to the collaboration of the hundreds of researchers that work in each of our universities, it is easy to see the unquestionable advantages of the work we have done together and to begin to imagine the results we can achieve. This collaborative sharing nevertheless requires considerable will and effort. Only an ironclad of continuous capacity to support and bolster these efforts can provide the necessary conditions to ensure that the investment already made and the work of collaborative projects such as EUGLOHRIA, as well as our common goals, especially in a field as decisive as global health, are not jeopardized. As Charles Darwin revealed, humanity's long history demonstrates that success of our species and that of others has depended on our ability to collaborate and to learn from collaboration. Now, more than ever, science, research, and the community as a whole need to follow this suit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sousa Pereira, for this inspiring opening message. Now, we welcome to the stage Diogo Meireles, Assistant to the City Councillor for Health, Youth and Sports of Porto City Hall.
Dear Rector of the University of Porto and Vice Rectors, dear Deans, Professors, Researchers, staff, students from the 9 EUGLO partnered universities, dear participants and distinguished guests, good morning to all. On behalf of Catarina Araújo, City Councillor for Youth and Health, I want to thank the invitation of University of Porto to participate in this symposium, which represents a unique opportunity to discuss the challenges we face and the opportunities that lie ahead in the field of health innovation at a macro level. My first words goes to the integration of the University of Porto as one of the 9 European universities in this alliance, a beacon of academic excellence and international collaboration, which in itself is indicative of the university's ongoing effort to promote the sharing of best practices, guaranteeing continuous advances in research and innovation in the health field at a global level. When we talk about innovation, we are talking about much more than an idea. Innovation is the driving force behind significant transformation. It is the force that drives the discovery of new therapies, for example, and the improvement of health systems around the world. In our case, the role of the municipalities is to boost the innovation in global health, and that action can reflect the growing awareness of the importance of collaboration between universities, industry, and regional authorities in the development of innovative health initiatives. The active involvement of municipalities in this process is essential to boost regional growth dynamics that promote territorial development and strengthen the human capital. Collaboration between these trades offers a valuable opportunity to combine expertise, resources, and diverse perspectives, promoting innovative solutions to global and local health challenges. Through strategic partnerships, municipalities can play a vital role in establishing R&D programs, encouraging the implementation of cutting-edge technologies, and promoting effective health policies. It is essential to recognize that the European Union plays a significant role by backing these regional collaborations, supporting and facilitating economic and social development, and removing barriers to transnational cooperation. Through funding programs centralized in the European Commission, the European Union strengthens the capacity of municipalities and other regional entities to boost innovation and the sustainable development of communities, promoting their well-being and resilience. This symposium brings together experts from across the globe who are at the forefront of health innovation, thus providing an opportunity and a privilege. Their valuable insights and perspectives will certainly be an asset in planning and developing effective strategies to address the health challenges we face today, which we know are very complex. These include the development of innovative therapies, the latest advances in the field of genetic therapies, neuroscience. These include development of innovative therapies, the latest advances in the field of genetic therapies, neuroscience, and regenerative medicine, which offer renewed hope to professionals and, above all, to patients battling chronic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, or heart disease, giving us all the prospect of promising future. The remarkable achievements in the field of medical technology also bring us numerous challenges. Research has driven extraordinary advances, including telemedicine, the development of medical devices, such as prostheses, for example, remote monitoring systems, and high-precision medical imaging technologies, which has revolutionized the diagnosis of diseases to the point of personalizing treatment based on genetic information and specific biomarkers. Artificial intelligence, in its context, has potential that has not yet been fully explored in the provision of healthcare. And still, within the spectrum of challenges, I would like to highlight innovative public health initiatives for their fundamental role in upstream action, in health promoting and disease prevention, which are so often mentioned but still far from receiving adequate investment. Academic excellence in the field of health is also reflected in the ability to identify health trends and implement innovative initiatives. I'm referring, among others, to the expansion of community-based screening programs, the implementation of vaccination programs, and healthy lifestyle facilitating initiatives, which, as a whole, will improve the health profile, quality of life, and well-being of populations, both locally and globally. Guaranteeing people's quality of life involves facilitating access to health care, as well as empowering people and encouraging research and the production of scientific knowledge. Porto is the city that hosts the Institute of Molecular and Cellular Biology, the National Institute of Biomedical Engineering, and the Institute of Pathology and Molecular Immunology of the University of Porto. The three funding institutions of the Institute of Research and Innovation in Health, which, along with others, contribute on a daily basis and with recognized national and international excellence to developments in the areas of innovation and health research. The municipality of Porto, in close collaboration with the University of Porto, has also been at the forefront in promoting cross-border partnerships and academic exchange, as evidenced by our participation in the EUGLOH Alliance. Since we signed the partnership in 2020, and we are working to not renovate, but to have another partnership to the EUGLOH 2.0. Our commitment has been continuous, and in the future, so will be. In fact, this partnership has strengthened existing ties, promoting academic excellence and innovative research in the health field. This commitment to excellence is intrinsically linked to our vision of a health and sustainable future. The reality is that Porto has established itself as a center of scientific innovation, paving the way for the universities of the future. And the municipality is committed to continue supporting and facilitating the exchange of students with University of Porto, of course, of the exchange of students, researchers, and teachers to promote cooperation and knowledge advancement. During this important symposium, I encourage everyone to embrace collaboration, creativity, and a shared commitment to driving innovation in global health. From the municipality standpoint, I can reaffirm that our commitment is to promote a comprehensive approach, because only in this way we will be able to face the emerging challenges and build a healthier and more sustainable future for all. Finally, I want to congratulate once again this initiative, the invitation of University of Porto, and in this symposium, certainly all participants will take away with them knowledge and perspectives that will greatly enrich their daily professional practice. And so I wish you all an excellent event. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now welcome the moderator of the next roundtable session, Entrepreneurship Impact Stories, Innovation in Global Health. Maria Oliveira is the Business Director at UPTech, the Science and Technology Park of the University of Porto. Maria will introduce our speakers for this session. José Bastos, CEO of NOC Healthcare. Bichelin Douin, Deputy Dean of Research, Université Paris-Saclay. Rodrigo Valdoleiros Silva, CEO of Orga Value and PhD student at the School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences of the University of Porto. Ildiko Soka, Director General for Strategic Planning at the University of Szeged. And joining us online, a warm welcome to Max Pullman, Cluster Development Lead at BioM Biotech Cluster. There will be opportunity to ask questions at the end. If you are attending virtually, please send us your questions via chat.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here moderating this table. So taking into account that we are talking about entrepreneurship, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, in a pitch manner, and that means 1 minute, can you briefly introduce yourselves and the organizations you represent? José, let's start with you.
Sure. Hi, I am José Bastos. I'm co-founder and CEO of NOC Healthcare. We are the leading telemedicine provider in Portugal. We perform over 1,000 consultations every day. And we use our software and technology to equip healthcare providers across the world in over 10 countries. And of course, all the research and all the innovation is made here in Porto, here in Portugal. And of course, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Bichelin?
Bichelin Douin. I'm a professor in computer science at Centrale Supélec. Just to say something, I was Deputy Dean of Research at Centrale Supélec, which is part of University Paris-Saclay. I just want to take this opportunity to say that this year we are celebrating the century for Gustave Eiffel. And Gustave Eiffel, who is the author of the Tower, Eiffel Tower, was a student from Centrale Supélec. And he built, in particular, the bridge over the river, the Douro. So we have a link with Porto.
So the importance of bridges between...
Yes, you as an entrepreneur, genius entrepreneur.
Very well. Rodrigo?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Rodrigo. I'm a CEO and founder of Orgavalio. Also, I'm a medical student, as the introduction said, in EUGLOHRIA, in PhD student in regenerative medicine, and also taking an MD graduation in the other university. The Orgavalio, it's a startup that was starting in 2020, that is the focus and the mission to eliminate the organ transplant waiting list by personalized human organs in order to replace the conventional way of doing transplantation and provide a new business model and also a new product for the patients in order to not wait anymore for an organ, and also from these organs to be personalized for them. And our initial focus, it is on liver transplantation.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ildiko. I work for the unit in the management of the university, next to the rector, vice rector for the science and innovation, Professor Zoltán Kónya, who is also here, and I'm the operative leader for the project management for R&D developments, for tech transfer activities of the University of Szeged.
Thank you. And Max, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So my name is Max Pöllmann. I'm a cluster development lead at BioM. We're a government-funded cluster development and management organization in the state of Bavaria, Germany. And government of Bavaria basically funds us to support local biotechnology companies and to also support the transition of technologies from universities, research institutes, and the likes into the industry, actually. So, yeah, very glad to be here, and I'm sorry I'm not in Porto. I'm sure the weather is better than in Germany right now.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Well, it can't be worse.
Okay, so José, I'll start with you. Since you were a startup incorporated in UPTech and now graduated from UPTech. Yeah. So my first question would be, what inspired you to move from the corporate world and create NOC Innovation?
Well, I think as most entrepreneurs, I was inspired by a personal need, which was improved access to healthcare. I think the amazing thing that happened afterwards is that as you start working on solving the problem, you find that you can really do amazing things, and there is a huge power in doing amazing things by yourself with your team. And we started by something really simple, which was just kind of Uberizing access to doctors, and suddenly we became a really innovative company, and today we use advanced technologies like AI and machine learning, and many of those functionalities very embedded in our own operation, and suddenly you find that even the limits that you set yourself, you can overtake them, and I guess that's what drives us today to keep progressing, because we're not just focused on doing what we do, we're focused on innovating, on delivering something truly different and visibly different from everybody else anywhere in the world. And and today that's kind of what pushes us forward.
Do you still feel that you have a strong connection with the university? And if so, why?
Well, I do. I'm actually an alumni of Faculdade de Economia do Porto. I was here last Saturday on a event dinner for, I've graduated for very long, and every so often they invite me to speak here, and it's always a pleasure. And so that's very personal, but then as a company, right now we have 4 PhD students and 4 master's students working with us, and basically they're doing research. So some of my co-founder and another very senior person on the team also teach at Faculdade de Medicina at the Medical College of University of Porto. So we keep that connection, and we believe it's really important because it's a great source of new ideas. It's an amazing source of talent. And by doing this combination, there we go. We keep pushing our own boundaries forward, which ultimately always leads to increased differentiation.
Oh, that's great. So Rodrigo, now back to you. Your Phalanx right now, your time as being the founder of a startup and at the same time pursuing your PhD and at the same time being very active in representing the students in the board of students of EUGLO.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your time with all of this?
I do more than that, but it's okay. But I think it's the entrepreneurship lessons that I take during these years. It's to know, it's a cliche, but it's really true. It's to know how we can work in a way to be profitable. And most of the times, having or working 10 hours a day cannot be efficient. So the way that I organize my life with the startup, with a medical degree, and now I'm taking an MBA. So
at the same time.
At the same time, yeah. I'm missing class this morning, but it's okay. It's the way that you organize your life and the connection between the startup, your professional life, your social life. It's a lifestyle. So you need to create a lifestyle in order to maintain all these things that you make. And the end result of that, it's the opportunities that you get. For example, my startup is in a biotech. It's we personalize human organs, that we remove the organs from cadavers and we just remove the cells from these organs and implement new cells. I just get to the human cadavers the first time that I enter again into my medical degree in medicine, because I know I networking with hospitals, I network with some doctors. So as you see, if we focus too much in one thing, we lost the spatial opportunities and the sensibility of what we can get more on that. In EUGLO, what I learned, it's about the collaborations, because we started in the first step. Networking, it's everything, and collaboration, it's also the most important in the entrepreneurship. It's not money, it's networking. Because if you see, for example, the startups that receive a huge amount of fundings are actually those that fail most, because the importance is networking, collaboration, and EUGLO, to collaborate with other students, other visions, other professionals as well, gives us a sense of responsibility. Also, because I feel very responsible to represent the students and to promote new projects, new opportunities for them, but also to give an example. So I think EUGLO was one of the most important steps in my formation, during my graduation, in order to understand all these kind of visions. And there is no. The three main things that I learned also was that there is not only one right answer for one problem, because with several persons we can have a huge amount of solutions for one problem. It will depend on the vision as well. And also the collaboration, in a sense that we need to collaborate to go further. Anyone goes further alone, and we need people to support us and for us to support them. And EUGLO teach that a lot in the students' environment, to create discussions and solutions also. And there is only the idea of mistakes that the conventional education teaches, that you cannot have mistakes. It's actually the opposite. So we need to create errors and mistakes. It's a matter of perspective. The error, it's a perspective thing. It's not the error per se. So EUGLO teaches a lot about collaboration, networking, and to see other as we like to see ourselves.
Okay. So amazing, global perspective and the importance of collaboration and networking.
For sure.
Max, this brings me back to you, because you transitioned from research to the corporate side and then back again to a different role now, connecting the Bavarian biotech ecosystem. And how do you feel networking plays into all of this?
I think it was a very personal decision for me. I did my PhD at the Max Planck here in Munich, worked at different institutes, and at the end realized that I'm probably not as good as a researcher as others are, and I didn't have the passion for my projects maybe sometimes, but I had a passion for connecting people and talking to a lot of different people and working together on joint projects. So this was something I enjoyed way more than actually designing my own experiments, for example. And yeah, this basically my role now is this perfect combination of all the things that I liked before to find exciting exciting projects somewhere else, to help people developing them, to find the right connections for other people, to realize what they're thinking of. And sometimes I think it would be nice to have a little bit more of my own, but I really enjoy this role of seeing a lot of things that others develop and others create, and being able to be part of it all. And it's amazing because it's the width and the range of different technologies, the range of different ideas and developments is so big. And we have, here in Munich, we have a lot of very good universities, excuse me, excellent students, teams, entrepreneurs, startups, and they all develop, or most of them develop great technologies or products to actually help the health system in the future. And it's been really an amazing experience for me to actually get to know all these people and get to know all their projects, and then finally also see how we can help them basically to actually get their products and ideas into industry and into a place where they can actually apply them to patients. So I think this is the thing that I missed sometimes in academia, that I worked on different projects, and then you write a paper, and then in the end that was it for many of my projects. And I think now that I can see how people get their own projects into a position where they can actually apply it and help people with it, that's amazing to me.
Okay, so moving back to academia, Ildiko, how do you see that University of Szeged is helping students and researchers scaling their innovations and reaching the market? And how has EUGLO play a role into all of this?
Thank you for your question. I think all of us who are here bridging alliances and bridging ecosystem, all of us are multitasking and multi-job persons here. I'm also a researcher. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I'm heading a doctoral school and also an institute for education and research. And beside this, doing this management job. How University of Szeged is organized in a way that we try and we do to get closer the industrial aspects and our researchers who are socialized on basic science, on PhD research, and this road between us is quite long. So how to shorten or how to get closer from how to translate the knowledge from the basic science closer to the industrial aspects, because here in the industry they have the problem to be solved. And the scientists, they have very deep knowledge in different basic sciences, but somehow we should bring together and build bridge. University of Szeged made this unit within its structure, working together with the rector and the chancellor. We made a management unit for translating this knowledge. We made an interdisciplinary excellence center. We made clusters, so all the researchers at University of Szeged now, they are grouped into clusters, life science cluster and medical sciences, natural sciences, material science, then IT, human and social sciences. So we made a cluster structure within the university structure. So these researchers and these PhD students and research activities are grouped into these hubs. So these internal hubs at the University of Szeged, these are the gate for the university partners, and then we give us a management support, the TTO office of the university, industrial, the lawyers who make the contracts with the industrial partners, they are very close to these top researchers and top students. So we tried, summarizing, we tried within the university somehow to collect, because we have 12 faculties, we have 2,000 researchers, we have more than 23,000 students, and different disciplines, 19 doctoral schools, so many, but they are spread away. Somehow to have the critical mass and to bring people together to work within the university who work on the same topic or similar topics. I think this kind of organizational change, what we are doing to get closer and give the opportunity for the students, for the PhD student, to get these research hubs and also the industrial requests.
Thank you. So, Bishlian, we had the opportunity yesterday to chat a little bit while you were visiting UPTech, and at the time we discussed diversity, or rather the lack of diversity whenever we are talking about entrepreneurship, and particularly the low number of female founders that we have right now in Europe. I think it's below 15% when we're talking about the entire ecosystem. And even worse, I think it's up to 2% when we are talking about companies that raise funds led by females. So, as a professor of computer science, how do you attract more girls for those STEM and technical fields, and how do you inspire them to become entrepreneurs?
Big questions. I think that it's the same problem we have with engineer school and scientific and mathematics. I think it's a question of willing. It's a question of the willing of the society, the willing of political representatives, and I think that we have to have incentives to promote science entrepreneurship towards girls. So it's a problem that I think we have to cope with as soon as possible. It's not a problem that arrives at the university. It's a problem that occurs when we're in primary schools and college and undergraduates. So I think it's what you say is a question of mindsets. In fact, so we as a professor, as a representative of university, we have this duty to encourage girls, women to access these jobs and these careers. Even if there are some excuses because for maternity leave and so on, but now men have paternity leave, so we are progressively, I think, improving the equality between men and women. I think so. It's a very important question that concerns the society, but ourselves as a professor, as a teacher, we have to deliver this message towards the people and towards the students. So I think that's a lot of things that have been done in Paris-Saclay, for example, and I think so in the other university with conferences in equality, gender equality, with workshop, with testimony of successful stories that involve women. And progressively, I have the spirit that it will change. But we have to be aware of that problem, and we have to wear this question ourselves. So it starts with ourselves, in fact.
Thank you. So, José, I was seeing you nodding a lot because we only have 2 representatives of startups that are male.
And white.
But then, since we were talking about funding, and since I recall a conversation we had pre-COVID and then post-COVID, what were your main challenges in raising funding for NOC?
I think one which is a very clear one is the fact that we are Portuguese. As much as we don't like to say it, but it's true. I mean, a company with our metrics that would be based in the UK or in Sweden would be worth 3 times more easily. So that's I think being Portuguese is an issue. The Portuguese fundraising or VC market is quite immature. You don't have a lot, or you have really very few success stories and even less successful exits. So you don't have VCs with a track record like you have in the US that say, I've invested in 100 companies over the last 20 years and I've multiplied my funds by, 1,000. You don't have those here in Portugal. So you see a lot of risk-averse VCs. And ultimately it's a game's number. So the way we dealt with that was we ended up going abroad, and we've been successfully finding VC money outside of Portugal, and but it's very challenging. And then healthcare has 2 things in particular that I think make it even more challenging. First of them is that cycles are slow. Sales cycles are slow because everybody that operates in healthcare takes a long time to make a decision because there's a huge risk associated to making the wrong decision. And so, yeah, that was problem number 2, certifications and regulatory context that again make even the development of whatever you do so much slower because you need to get medical device certification, and those things just take time as great as they may be. And so VCs like simple stuff that can scale really fast. And when someone invests in healthcare, they need to be ready for quite the opposite. It's complex, it doesn't scale fast. I think it has a huge there's a huge upside on healthcare as well, which is, on the other hand, it sticks. I mean, we've never lost a client because the level of integration that you have with clients then becomes so deep that the cost of changing is huge. So it's stickiness, and it's sustained. It's crisis-proof. I hear everybody that works on more exciting sectors than healthcare very much complaining about crisis, and our company is performing at its best level ever, and kind of trending to improve because healthcare is kind of immune to crisis. But I would say your run-of-the-mill investor has a bit of a problem with the length of the sales cycles and the speed at which you build on that. There are no runaway successes. You look at the great companies in healthcare, the great success stories, and you have Babylon, which has grown exponentially and then fell and finished. And kind of the other ones, they grow at a little bit slower pace than the great SaaS companies that everybody likes to look at. But hey, I mean, it's part of the game. It's a sector we've chosen, so we just need to find the right people.
One thing I'm curious has to do with, we talk about triggers, the importance of things that are not expected. How did COVID play into the equation when we are talking about NOC?
It's funny because I'm going to give you the opposite answer you're waiting. For us, it was not amazing. Okay. Because suddenly, I mean, we were in digital health, we were in telemedicine, and suddenly everybody and their mothers had some solution for telemedicine based on WhatsApp or Google Meet or whatever. And I think it brought, it damaged the credibility in this space in a really material way. The good news for us is 3 years after COVID, 80% of these companies, maybe more, have failed. And so now a lot of people that were saying, oh, I'll develop an internal solution, or I just found this company that does this amazing thing on Google Meet, they are dropping. It helped us, of course, scale our operation as well. And so we understood some things about, for instance, the value of data, what we could do with data, because our operation became so strained that suddenly we needed to use a lot of data to make it more efficient. So it helped us from that standpoint, but in terms of notoriety and of the sector as a whole, I think there was there was a huge drop in credibility because suddenly it became a fashion trendy thing. I'm happy that it's over.
Well, we all are, I believe. So, Max, I was seeing you kind of agreeing with everything that José was saying. How do you feel? Do you have a particular success case you could share with us connected with BioM, the cluster, and the level of investment as well that you have in Bavaria?
Yeah, I was totally agreeing with what was said. We have similar issues here. I think it's just the scale in which the US overshadows the biotechnology market is just insane. I had a conversation the other day where we were talking about company evaluation and the fact that German companies are also valued much lower than US companies, even though they are probably quality-wise equal. But I think that's an issue that we have on a whole European level, that we are just lacking behind in the field of biotechnology because the US is just taking all of the shares basically and the stage light there. But yeah, we have the same issues here in Germany. I think that VCs are very conservative with their money. They're very careful. I think we are also struggling with regulations. I think Germans are probably the world champions in over-regulating things. So a lot of our companies are not finding many particular benefits of being here, actually, besides it being kind of nice and having the mountains right around the corner and having a very high quality of living here. But yeah, in terms of actual monetary benefits for a company, it's not as easy to keep companies here. And yeah, coming back to success stories, we do have very successful companies. We have very highly innovative drug developers here, but that's also an issue that was pointed out before, that developing a drug is not a very lucrative thing for an investor per se. You invest a huge amount of money, it's highly risky, and you're basically you're not able to earn any money in a very long time, and you're just hoping to get to a place where you can actually sell your product to maybe a big pharma company, or somebody sees something in it, and you get lucky and successful with it. So I would say a lot of our very successful drug developers are the ones that had a great technology that was bought by one of the big pharmas. We have these examples where companies struck very lucrative deals. Just a couple of months ago, we had a company that got, I think, 60 million from Bristol Myers, and then have these following payments based on milestones that could go up to $1 billion. These are the success stories that we have, even though for us, sometimes we're not sure if it's a success for us if a company gets sold to an US pharma company, or if we lose something or if we win something, I don't know. I think it's a matter of perspective, but at the moment we're investment wise, we're not in a situation or in a position where our companies can actually make it on their own a lot of the time. So we have a couple of bigger companies like MorphoSys, for example, that made it on their own to a reasonably sized biotech or pharma company. Depends on how you see it. But I think the companies that represent the way that Germans probably work the best are the sometimes service providers or providers of lab equipment, for example, because they are the ones that grow in a very sustainable, slow rate, but they do grow. And I think that's the same as was pointed out before, that if you do it correctly and if you do it in a safe way and in a sustainable way, it's a very low risk sector for some of the companies. If you're not about to develop like a high risk drug that could fail any minute and has a lot of competitors, for example. But if you have a good product, and I think that's also a bit easier sometimes for medical devices or other products that are actually there that you can sell, then you're probably in a good market, in a good position there. But yeah, it's a very risky and very interesting sector, I would say. But it's certainly doesn't get boring. But, we do have a lot of good companies, and it really depends on what they do and where they want to go, and also where they want to see themselves. So sometimes you see companies that are founded, and you know that the only reason somebody founded this company basically was to sell it as soon as possible and make a little bit of money and found the next company. And sometimes you see people that really develop a project that is very close to their heart and that they really want to see flourish. And we do have CEOs here that have a company that is worth a couple of billion euros, and they have been offered a lot of money for their company, and they're not selling it because they love what they do, and they really believe in their product, and they really believe in the way they're running their company, and they're just enjoying it, basically. So that's probably always the nicest thing to see. And if these people also are in a mindset where they want to pass on their experiences and their knowledge, that is the best case scenario for us, because then they work with us, and then we can use them to actually teach the next generation of entrepreneurs and founders to actually be successful.
Okay. We do share some of your bittersweet feeling because of the 7 Portuguese unicorns. Only one is headquartered in Portugal, which means that we are not sure if this is a good thing or not really to be announcing these huge rounds of funding when everything is going to the US. So, Rodrigo, you are on an excellent position because you are a student, but at the same time you are in different organizations, in different roles. what do you believe that universities of UGLOH should be doing that they still aren't doing to promote entrepreneurship within the students?
Let me think. To give you a bigger picture of myself in the process, it's very different because if I speak about University of Porto in one word, for me it was opportunities to develop the startup and of course the units, do Porto Inovação, do PTEC, I3S, and the university, organic universities, for example, EUGLOHRIA. I'm a student from EUGLOHRIA in regenerative medicine, and I believe that in the process I have some people that help me during the process with tolerance. It's the most important thing, tolerance, and the supervision during the process in order to support me and to have these people that I can count on them during the process. In the other universities, I don't know, but I just know from my experience that if you want to create the future leaders for tomorrow, or if you want to give tolerance for them to develop their solutions, you need to not the education of nowadays and from the future. I truly believe that is the education that you personalize, not the amount of the information that you give to the students, but the way that you give to each one of them. And this is to creating the future leaders in order to develop what is innate in you and not acquired by the others, and also to not normalize the education to everyone because we are not equal to each other. And entrepreneurship is to develop a sense where you expose yourself in a new product and an innovation, in a way to see the world for your customers, and also to empower your own university. I truly believe that for me, if it was not University of Porto, I will never be here nowadays, and I3S and all the organic units, and I don't know, Szeged, Munich, Paris-Saclay, Tromsø, Hamburg, and other universities that belongs to EUGLOH, what is their implementation plan. But for me, it's the power to give the students a personalized education, not focused always in the student, but to take that student to understand what it's innate on him or in her, and to develop these potentialities for the future. So I think the education, the future education, it's that. It's not the amount of information, because we live in a nowadays in a world that with all of data information, but the true knowledge, we are not developing the true knowledge. We are just acquiring amount of information, and this happened in research. For example, The Economist launched last year an article, very good, that 80% of the information that it's discovered in the universities, when we create these inventions to innovation to the customers, 80% fail. Because we have a lot of information, but a lack of knowledge, you know, because knowledge is to take all this information and to create knowledge, and we need students for that, and we need professors as well, and most of the times university is made by people, professors, and sometimes we need to take some stones during the process because they block the creativity and this sense of spirit of collaboration, and to give the students space for them to create. It's not create mistakes or make mistakes, but it's for them to experience. I learn by experience. I don't learn to read a book, so I'm the worst student for medical student. From the medicals, I'm the worst one. You know, because they acquire. I don't know how they can do it. I can't, because I learned during the process, and I discovered new things by experience. You know, so yeah, for me, it's personalize the education for each student and not to normalize everything.
So the same way we're talking about personalized medicine or patient-centric journey,
yes.
You're talking about personalized education.
Yes, it's the same way of personalized medicine in some way. I believe in narrative medicine. That is very different from personalized medicine, because it's the same thing that personalized medicine. For example, we know that we have a lot of startups that a patient wants to know what kind of the disease they will get in the future. If you make an array of genomic array, we'll get every disease that you want. But the narrative medicine is the way that you create a history from the patient. It starts with the history, narrative medicine, from the process. And the notion what is being sick and the disease, it's very different to get a disease and being not well-being during the process. It's, for me at least, it's different of having disease and be sick. It's very different. And personalized medicine do not divide that. It's narrative medicine that makes the process. Of course, and maybe personalize, I said the wrong term in the education, but create a narrative for each student. Personalize them as a narrative for each student, you know? It's more accurate.
The question of adaptation as well.
Exactly, adaptation.
Okay. So Ildiko, looking back to all the work that was done during these years of the Alliance, is there a particular program or, I don't know, case which you would like to showcase that for you it was kind of a success and something that should be repeated in the future?
But I think that it's a great experience to be in this alliance, because it's a big matrix structure. Not only generations working together, but intercultural behavior and how to deal with different organizations and nations together. It's a very good experience. And for me, for example, this kind of Demola program, what we had and we shared within the EUGLO partners, I think this was a unique. Because we try to find our place within the EUGLO Alliance, because all of the universities, they are great universities in our alliance. So what could be for us as a Central European university, what we can share or what is unique in our case. So what with students, what we organize this Demola program, and we are in this international programming, and we have our proof of concept program at our university. So all the students were coming to these programs, and we could share it within the Alliance student community. I think this is a good example of sharing what we already experienced and what we could give to EUGLO. And it was very interesting because among our students, we have 20% of Szeged University students are international students. And our international students are very active in this industrial and proof of concept projects and Virtus program, this one. And they give a very good example for Hungarian and native students, because they were more afraid of being so free in thinking. So this kind of design thinking, this kind of problem solving was learned by these experiences within the Alliance, because international students and this Alliance students, they were much more free in thinking. So I think this was, for us, our part, this Demola is one case, what I think it's a good example, what we could share with the Alliance and what we learned from the students and researchers of the Alliance, this kind of openness, this kind of design thinking, which now is affected and now penetrated into our university.
So a little bit experimentation, like Rodrigo was saying, that we need to try and try again in order to learn and to find the path to success. And now looking ahead, Ms. Liane, how do you see that the European Alliance could improve the work that it has been doing to promote entrepreneurship?
Yes, to start this conversation, I will just come back to the how we do at Paris-Saclay. Maybe we can share the experience. In Paris-Saclay, we have a different stage and different way of accompany students. So we have the acculturation, awareness, with testimonies, with webinar, and with conference, where the student can learn from the other what is entrepreneurship. And then we have the proof of concept. We have a laboratory where we can test the idea and develop the concept. And afterward, we have maturation to accompany the product to be tested. And afterward, there is the seed fundings. So along this chain of value, we want to, personalize the offer by providing specific program. So for the majority of students, we have one program which is dedicated to all students. All students have to be aware of what is entrepreneurship, what are the success stories, what they are able to do, starting from their study. I was very interested on the result of EUGLOHRIA. 20 research projects were presented yesterday. We have EUGLOHRIA with 20 projects. behind each of the project, maybe we can think of innovation, how this project can become an innovative topic and can be followed, accompanied by experts in developing the idea. And the second step we have in University of Paris-Saclay is promoting an innovation track where we can have students that are interested in transforming their idea into a proof of concept. And we work directly with the laboratory in order to train not only the student, but the supervisor of the student, because it's an exchange. As you say, every moment we can have a connection with people that we ignore who are interested in entrepreneurship. So being aware, having the proof of concept by developing the concepts, and afterward, if the student is willing to continue, we can accompany in the maturation, and there is another device that could help the student to maturate the idea until the creation of the startup with the incubators. The problem I think here we have in Paris-Saclay is that these devices are not so consistent. They don't know each other. You have incubator in AgroParisTech, you have incubator in Centrale Supélec, you have incubator in Paris-Saclay. So we have to connect these different devices in order to serve the interest, the idea of the students. That's I join your remark. We have to go deeper personalization by provoking meeting, for example, organizing the entrepreneurial day. And I think that the EUGLO is the ideal place to mix interdisciplinarity. And I think the most important quality we have is the open-mindedness. Because if you are not open to opportunity, you won't be able to see the opportunity that there is behind your research. We have different categories of researchers. We have the researchers that are very open, that want to collaborate in the innovation and research, and you have other researchers that are very close to their domain and don't want to. So we have to make incentives for these researchers that are willing to go after and to innovate. So I think that's a question of opportunity, and EUGLO, by analyzing the collation and by dialoguing and comparing, it's exactly what was done during the 3 years with EUGLOHRIA, is, I think, a good place to exchange, to compare and to analyze, and to put together the people and the infrastructure and means.
So we are reaching the final stage. Yes, please.
Yeah, sorry, I just did want to give an example. For example, for my startup, Orgavalio, we are collaborating with Luisa from Munich and Castra. Luisa is now in Boston as well, and we met in EUGLO, and we are now starting a project that we are going to defend in Milan in 2 weeks from now, that is for cancer. To use our technology for Orgavalio to create models for cancer therapies. So this is like the engagement that is supposed to happen in EUGLO, not just about education, but in this project. So I took one student and we collaborate as well, João Gomes, that is a Porto ambassador from EUGLO, and we just join together and create a new project each other, and now we are defending Milan to receive 50,000. So it's good. So it's this sense that we want to empower in EUGLO, in my perspective.
Yeah.
And finally, taking into account the personality of the student is very important. I have an example of one student at Paris-Saclay who, when he started his PhD, he knew that he was create a startup in hydrogen, and his startup is now successful. He leveraged 2 million euro, but he was very ambitious at the first of the year. And at each stage of the project, we have to give them the information and to have the dialogue to understand the needs. Yes.
Very well, good example in terms of the collaboration and co-creation that can be created because you just have these stronger links with the different universities. And ideally, if we could take the best programs of each universities and create like a super program. That would be amazing, that all could participate. But now, going back to the final, and we do have some time for questions from the audience, so go ahead. I see a microphone there, but I'm not sure if there is any question from the audience. Professor Joana? Everybody else needs an example, so.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much for your inspiring words. I think it's already a good sign that we are having this roundtable about entrepreneurship and showcasing examples of startups that are already successful, startups that are very promising, that were somehow born connected with the university, showing that this academia business cooperation or showing that considering that academia can be a nest for successful startups and companies that are based in knowledge and therefore have much more potential to increase even the economic situation of the country. What was also clear from this discussion is that we need a lot of ingredients for this to become a reality. First, we need to open up academia, to open up the walls of our labs so that we can think of or find the resources or the people to think of how we can use research results and transform them into innovation. Also, this seems easy when we are saying it. It's quite complex when you try to do it because, for example, academia careers are often based on publications, and sometimes to have a successful business, you need to protect your knowledge, not publish it right away. And this creates a dilemma for the members of the academic community. And also because it also needs for us to create collaborations that are not necessarily easy. And this occurs between EUGLO universities, but also among different areas of knowledge, creating the right teams, making these bridges that you were referring to. And when you think of EUGLO and all the work that has been done in the last 5 years, I would say that it's actually quite admiring because you have to change in all the mission areas of the university. And I would highlight the work that has been done in terms of teaching entrepreneurship as a competence, because this is a shift in the mindset. And with the involvement of students, this was, I think, crucial for us to, in a few years, to see the outcomes of this investment that universities have been done and are continue to do. But also I would like to raise a point that is sometimes, and for instance in the area of biotech, we are not only speaking about competencies, but we are also speaking about huge investments in infrastructure, for example, in having clean rooms where startups can test their products and all that. To which extent this can actually be worked in EUGLO? We had yesterday an event discussing research infrastructure. To which extent can we work or we should be working in agreements? What would be your concerns and your advices of how to put EUGLO in favor of your business? This is more a question for the entrepreneurs in the table.
So, so I'm from biotech. My company is from biotech, and biotech, it's very difficult in Portugal, but also taking academia. For example, my company, we are in the best country in Europe to start our business model and technology because our public system and our collaborations with the legal medicine here in Porto and also hospitals. Unfortunately, some hospitals are difficult enough to get them, not because of the staff, because the staff is amazing, but because of the higher person up there that does not have this kind of vision, and most of the times our solutions runs out the fuel, the money, because some persons that are taking these decisions. For example, the president from hospitals and so on, they do not want us there to test or to validate or to go to there. So in Portugal, we have very good facilities in order to implement biotech solutions, but we don't have like the funding and also some research infrastructure that we need. And the amount of the funding, for example, for biotech, it's a huge amount. For example, I have a friend that received, I don't know, 1 million or something like that. And I was like, 1 million for me, it's like 1 month for that, just to testing, you know? Because the amount of certification, the amount of that we need to give, and also the legal policy. For example, biotech, it's very difficult because we are creating solutions that we don't have legal certification at this moment. For example, for me, that I develop new organs that are personalized. I work with stem cells, I work with medical device, I work with decellularized tissue, I work with bioengineering, so it's a lot of money to certificate all of that. And most of the VCs that are not aware or that does not have a background in biotech, especially here in Portugal, they don't understand that. They think that it's normal for everyone, and it's not. Biotech, it's not, and the revenue, of course, biotech, it's a huge amount of revenue. We one startup biotech that can efficient to go to the market can count with a huge amount of money, and I can give you an example. For example, in Portugal, another article from Expresso Journal that showed that one of the 10 startups from Portuguese stock index, if you combine them, most of them, the startups, has a value even more than EDP, Galp, Bank of Portugal, from private bank from Portugal. So our startups or our unicorns, the value of them, it's a huge amount, but we need support from the institution. And for example, EUGLO or EUGLOHRIA can create this kind of connection of research if I'm trying to doing, for example, stem cells in GMP production, where I can make that in EUGLO, where the facilities are, because I'm collaborating. I cannot invest in GMP production because it's a huge amount of money, and I cannot go to the private pharmaceutical companies because they have the GMP production focus on their development. So I need to collaborate with another ones, and the price of that, it's a huge amount of money. So how can the universities and this kind of collaboration to give us a track in order for us to be profitable into our solution? So yeah, I believe that we need to focus especially in biotech, to find these kind of spots where we can develop our solution and not retain in our space. So,
José.
And then there's the second part of it, which is how do you split the IP between the people who do the research, the contracts with universities that typically are not super friendly, and that limits, I think, the fluidity of the market.
I learned that because when I start Orgaval, I create a legal agreement before to start the technology. Because if you are creating after, most of the times these certificates are not so good.
So taking into account this last comment, any other question from the audience or not really? I was trying to see if somebody from University of Porto Technology Transfer Office would say something about the difficulty of IP licensing. So I imagine we don't have a lot of students in the audience, but we do have a lot of decision makers, professors, people that are responsible for building curricula. So as a last thought, what would be, each one of you, but very short, what would be the advice that you would give to them in order to promote entrepreneurship and global health?
I think there's one which is very obvious. There should be entrepreneurship sessions or courses kind of across the universities. I don't see why it hasn't to be specific, and rather it should not be specific to Faculdade de Economia or to the engineering school, because those are the more entrepreneurial ones, but rather the others. Kind of,
and
hey,
science,
see what
and
you're
science
missing.
as well.
Right, see what you're missing, see how easy it is, see what you need to learn to go for the basics, because I think that would actually really help.
Okay.
I think that there is no silly idea. You can imagine and you can dream all what you want to do. And my first advice is the baseline is attend a conference or something that will make you aware of what is entrepreneurship. And afterwards, do not hesitate to connect to people, because there are a lot of structure, a lot of people that will help you in your way.
Rodrigo.
Yeah. In science, for me, from medical perspective, we need to change all of that. All the curriculum, you know.
All the curriculum.
All the curriculum,
Okay.
because the curriculum is
challenge.
based on clinical perspective, not to create new solutions or to empower yourself. We just want to normalize all the clinicians, you know.
Yeah.
It's very sad. So, and I believe that we need to change, not to give this all amount of information to the students, but to give them, to supervise them, to adapt the teaching from each of them, and to help them to create new solutions. Some of them want to be clinician, it's justly fine, but most of them, or another ones, don't want to be clinician or an hybrid clinician, but to create solution. For example, if I'm in the hospital, I look to the hospital and I look to have this background in I3S, and I just find so much solution that the researchers are doing and do not reach to the hospital.
Yeah.
And we need these kind of persons that create these connections between this curriculum teaching and to empower the patients and the hospitals, economic, political, and social, and so on. Yeah. So in medical perspective, change the curriculum, all of that.
What we do at University of Szeged, now we are undergoing an accreditation process for being entrepreneurial university. This is the accreditation council for this accreditation. And this is a systematic self-evaluation of our organization from entrepreneurship point of view. Leadership, the organization, the strategy goals, the organization, and whatever. So now we shared our experiences with the pleasure with the EUGLO universities, what we are undergoing on this accreditation. It's quite tough, but shows us a picture, a photo, a screenshot about our organization for entrepreneurial point of view. So I can advise this tool set.
So a diagnosis of ourselves, what exists in order to improve for the future. And Max?
Yeah, I think it would be very helpful to increase the value of technology transfer and translation in an academic setting. So what I see oftentimes is that it really depends on individuals in a university or research institute. Sorry, the sun.
There's sun in there.
Yeah, and now it's here. So it really depends on an individual professor or someone if a lab translates its ideas into actually usable assets. And I think increasing the value of, for example, a patent would be great. So that you don't necessarily need a certain amount of papers, but if you have a patent or something similar, that would be worth more in your academic career as well. So I think this would help us bring more of these great ideas into the market and into a position where it actually helps people. And I've seen it before that in that academic setting, when I was there, I had way more co-authorships than I had authorships or first authorships, and they are basically meaningless. So if you're applying for jobs in academia, it's all about what you have done for yourself. And I think applying a little bit more of a collaborational spirit and a little bit more of and focus on the ideas itself instead of what you as a scientist have done yourself for your career, that would go a long way, and then also help to develop these ideas into actual products or actual medicines, for example. So we've tried to talk to universities about this patent situation, and we had the topic before that filing patents while you're working at a university or a research institute is the same thing. And some of the universities and institutes are just not very focused on marketing or developing products. They just want to have the next Nobel Prize winner, or they want to have a certain amount of prizes or published papers. And I think in the end, papers are great, but the patient who is lying in bed with a disease or with cancer or something, they would benefit way more if that idea would be in a pill instead of a paper.
Okay, so thank you. Last comment.
One phrase, and the way, and not the way of the curriculum, but the way we enter in the faculty.
Okay.
The way that we, the way that you think that taking good grades reflects that you are good or bad. This is wrong. Yeah, I find a lot of people with good grades that are awful. But the way that we enter in the university, good grades do not reflect if you are going to be good or bad or the future leader of tomorrow.
A more holistic evaluation process.
For sure. And
that takes into account other skills that you may have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much to all of you. A round of applause to our speakers.
Thank you to all participants, all speakers, and our moderator. This session is now concluded. We invite all participants for a coffee break. For participants following us online, we will resume at 11:30 in Portugal and 12:30 Central European Time. Thank you. Welcome back. The next plenary session will showcase the EUGLOHRIA project results, fostering innovation and reinforcing cooperation in the EUGLO Alliance. We welcome to the stage Professor Miguel Souza, professor at the School of Economics and Management, where we are today, of the University of Porto, and the EUGLOHRIA academic leader.
Okay, I believe it would be okay to talk from here. You can hear me? Yes? Okay. So, I would just first welcome all of you once again of the School of Economics. It's my alma mater. So I'm here for more than 30 years. So this is where I work every day. And so I'm here to present, to show you part of what we have been doing at WP4 EUGLOHRIA. This represents 2/3 of our work. The other third is still a work in progress. We hope we can present in the final conference in Munich in 1.5 months. And it's much more than a working package for work. It's more a EUGLOHRIA final work, which will be regarding the action plan for an observatory on innovation and global health. I won't talk about this. Today, I will just show what we have been doing in the first 2 years of the project in order to fostering innovation, reinforced cooperation in EUGLO Alliance. So it had been a long work that involved a lot of persons that I will recognize in the end. So basically, this summarizes a bit what we have done, and I will go through all these phases. So we start by learning about each other. Research and innovation ecosystem was very, very fruitful for all of us, at least for me, even internally. From the University of Porto, I learned a lot of things I didn't know, but I also have a lot of things of the other 5 initial universities of the EUGLO Alliance that initiate this EUGLOHRIA project. Then we share between us the best practices we locally have to promote innovation. Then we move to the academic business network practice, so we learn a lot from each other. We start to try to learn what the external stakeholders, the business network, what they want for us, what they can benefit from us, and we would like to learn from them what they believe the EUGLO could bring additional to what the relationship they already have with each local ecosystem. And then we end up this 2/3 with an action plan to promote innovation and business cooperation at EUGLO level. So the idea is to move from local to EUGLO level. So to all of us be more than the sums of the parts, and I believe we can do that in the future. So basically, as I told you, I will just show you a glimpse of what we have been doing. And so we start by the research of innovation ecosystem of each university. We learned about Paris-Saclay University ecosystem. We know it's just a brief part of the document we produce. So we learn how Paris-Saclay is organized. We have been there in the annual summit, so we also know these facilities. We then learn from Lund University. I have the privilege of being there already 3 times, and it's a wonderful ecosystem, a very engaged ecosystem. So we learn what they're doing. We learn about a lot of practice, a lot of networks they have. We learn about Szeged, which is one of the few universities, unfortunately, I haven't known yet, but soon enough I'll have that opportunity. Then I also learned a lot. Most of you maybe didn't learn that because you already knew it, but I learned a lot about Porto ecosystem. So, and we share that with our partners based on UPTech, our external partners, our faculties, research unities. We did the same from LMU in Munich, which also we have the privilege to know in the kickoff of the EUGLO 2.0. So this was the first phase. Then we moved for mapping the existing best practices to promote innovation at each local partner. We map them, we try to define them through type of practice, target group. So it's not important for you to understand it, just we're mapping this. But I will just show you an example of one of each practice that each universities share with us. It was almost chosen randomly from the several. In the total between practice to innovate and to promote academic business network, we share within us almost 50 practices. And so from Paris-Saclay, one of those practices we learned to promote innovation was what we call plug-in labs. So it's creating 2014 is a single web portal to gain a quick overview of everything they have, and it's a lot. Believe me, Paris-Saclay is huge. Then from Lund is one of the nicer things we like to have replicate, which is not easy. They have a Lund holding company. They get stuck, equity stuck in the companies that spring from their ecosystem. So they support, and we learn about that. We see that in practice. From CESER, I just picked the Hungarian Startup University Programs, which is a flagship programs of the University of Szeged. From Porto, pick that because it's regarding it includes the I3S, the 3 big research institutes we have on health sector, on innovation on health sector. And so we also share what we do here. From LMU, we also learn about this Innovation Entrepreneurship Center. This is just a brief example of things we share each other. There were more than 20 practices that we learned from all 5 initial EUGLO partners. Then we move, because we believe that innovation without external stakeholders, without being able to go further and try to create business from it, it's a little bit, I don't know, it's not the outcome we would like. We'd like to bring that to the real world. We'd like to bring that to the people, to the society, and we can only do that if we engage with business partners in order to promote, in order to go further, and to make our research to have a final objective. So here we went even further. We map all the 25 practices we share between us, and we're mapping in terms of these dimensions and these dimensions. So the map becomes slightly more impressive, and it takes much more time. But I'm going to show you just, once again, each university, one of those practices. So universities, Paris-Saclay, we have the SET Paris-Saclay. So funds support the development of research work and ensure the transfer of technology to the market. Funding is in every place. This is one of the flagship of Lund University. I have the privilege to visit. We have the privilege 2 days ago to hear again Peter Hartman, which is the heart of Medical Village, and this incubator on health sector that is a fantastic place. I have the opportunity to visit when I was there. From University of Szeged, I just choose the INNO program, Innovation Business Management Trainings, and also it creates a lot of joint learning and training platform on innovation and business management for innovative small business enterprise, entrepreneurs, enterprise, and young research students. On Porto, we have the EJUP Empresas, which is right now having the parallel session with this, that was born to challenge students, the University of Porto, and companies to incorporate the research program. So that's how we can move from research, innovation, to have some market attraction and be able to take some of our research and innovation. From LMU, we have the research technology transfer. So once again, it's a joint research project, LMU Munich, Scouting for Appropriate Research Partner, LMU Munich. So it helps to connect researchers with corporation. That was the next step, the last step we needed. But we're not happy just to know about each other. We want to know what our stakeholders, our external partners want from us, or they believe they can benefit. What is our value proposal? What can we propose to them? And so, together with the WP4 of EUGLO, we ran a survey and where we collect the answers from 47 anonymous external stakeholders. Basing on very different questions, I just will, once again, just give you a glimpse of type of answer we have. I thought they were the most important. This question was more to learn what EUGLO could bring more in addition to what we individual bring to each our external stakeholders. And so what they thought, we as a whole could bring more than we as an individual. And we can see partnership, although, of course, they still are very keen on research, development, and innovation project, and the EUGLO, they believe the EUGLO can bring more than we do it individually. Those three areas, they believe that we as EUGLO can have more, or at the level of partnership through international networks. So we have an international network that is very valuable for our external stakeholders. Consultancy programs and international mobility programs. I believe the international mobility programs have been a success at the EUGLO level. So let's try to use this international network to take to them, to offer them more than we offer individually. So what are the type of cooperation that will motivate the organization to cooperate with EUGLO? Access to knowledge, recruit international talent. Once again, we are international. We can add value to those organizations. Also, visibility, intercultural exchange, social responsibility, and access to funding, which is always a preoccupation along all this we have been doing. And finally, just a third and last example of things we ask them. What will be the potential benefits of academia business network within EUGLO? And those were the three answers that we see more: joint knowledge generation, joint innovation hubs, and a strong ability to attract funding schemes. I told you, funding is everywhere in the needs of us, our external stakeholders, but together we can go further. So finally, after all of this, we need to come to an action plan to promote innovation at EUGLO level. So let's try to explore the fact that we are an international network. And so our proposals were on simple 4 areas. We propose that we should create, but obviously before that we need to apply for funding. Funding is always an issue. A EUGLO Innovation Hub. But there are simple things that we can do without funding. We can help connect, we should connect our local TTOs, make them know each other, make them collaborate each other. These kind of events, annual summits and all that, to help. We can simply open local projects to EUGLO partners. Come on, we have shared a lot of initiatives run locally. We can benefit just to invite startups from other universities to also be here to present. We can give the opportunity to our external stakeholders to test other markets, to go to other markets, proofs of concepts in other markets. Right now, we are 9 different cities and 8 different countries. So let's make the best of it. And then we also propose create a EUGLO Academia Business Network team. So look to the Academia Business Network not as a local, but as an integrate EUGLO level. Obviously, this was done just with the first initial partners. We really hope that the 4 new partners, and I believe part of it, at least if not all, is expected to be done at EUGLO 2.0 to try to bring and to make, they need to join us, the 4 new partners. But unfortunately, this project started 3 years ago. We were just 5 at the time. Was not, and we are finished this project in the end of the year, so we didn't have time to incorporate the new partners. But obviously, this can be easily done with the framework that is created and that is being used in the EUGLO 2.0. It can be easily done with the 4 new partners. As I told you, this just represents 2/3 of our work. We are in the final steps of propose an action plan to build an observatory on innovation on global health. This last step is not really a WP4 task, it's an EUGLOHRIA task, because it will involve all the WPs. And right now, the final draft of the document was shared with everybody. On EUGLOHRIA, we are expecting for the final feedbacks. Hopefully in the final conference, we can show you the conclusions. And so without much delay, I just want to have my contacts, and I would like to mention all the team. This was not, I was just a simple leader over more than 26 meetings, almost 30 meetings. And I would like to praise all the people that participate, most of those online. Due to conflict agendas, I believe during the process we lost 1 or 2 persons. They are not mentioned there, but I would like Professor Michel Mariton, even Harald O also. They participated at the same moment, but this was the team that was there from the beginning until now, so until the end. So it has been a pleasure. The work is not done. We are almost finished. Hopefully, we can take something for the future. And this is what I have to share with you. For me, I leave there. If you want to make any question, but I was not expect that, but I'll be able to answer them. Okay. So I believe you control this from there?
Thank you, Professor Miguel, for your presentation. We will now welcome our speakers for the next plenary session, Research and Innovation Ecosystems of the New Partners of the EUGLO Alliance. We would like to invite our first speaker, Katrin Schöning-Stierand, Research Associate of the House of Computing and Data Science from the University of Hamburg. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. So at first, thank you for the opportunity to give this talk today here. I will tell you a little bit about the House of Computing and Data Science at the Universität Hamburg. As Anna yesterday already said, we are asked to call it Universität Hamburg and not University of Hamburg. It's, yeah, it's a name and it can be cannot be translated. So. There was in 2018 a study from the OECD on the state of research. It is quite old because it's from 2018, but it is the most recent we have. And there has been a paper on 2020, and it shows the state of digital transformation in the different faculties and science directions. And as you can see, there are different strengths and weaknesses in the different faculties. So, for example, the arts and humanities are really good in online presence and communication. Yeah, I do not wonder that this is a fact because this is their job. And the computer scientists have a very bad online presence and communication, but they are really strong in data code dissemination and digital productivity. And so it is individual for each of the different faculties. And in the University of Hamburg, there was the task to enhance all the digital transformation for the different faculties. And the idea was to find a solution, and the suggested solution is the House of Computing and Data Science. And this is a central institution of the Universität Hamburg. It's not part of any faculty. It's directly in the center of the university. And it supports the interdisciplinary research and application of innovative digital methods in close cooperation with its partners from science and research in the Hamburg metropolitan region. So we have lots of universities and scientific institutions in Hamburg, and there's a big, they are working together in different projects. I think it is 9 universities and numerous other scientific institutions. And the House of Computing and Data Science is now a little bit the coordinator in these projects between the different institutions. There's a big scientific collaboration that is called Peer Plus, and there all these institutions are getting together and thinking about finding projects, what to do next. And So it fuels the easy adoption, usage, and research of digital methods in its methodology competence center. This is a special center of the House of Computing and Data Science, and I will come later to it. And it offers various disciplines and projects a forum to exchange the information and collaboration at the interface between methodological sciences and the applied sciences. And this is the main idea. So to get the digital part of the research to the applied sciences, while the methodological sciences also evolve and improve their methods. This is the structure of the House of Computing and Data Science. There are 3 central units for digital matters in research at the Universität Hamburg. And at the basis is the Regionale Rechenzentrum. This has also no English name. And it provides the research infrastructure and basic services like email, like student having all the services for students which they need during the semester, and storage infrastructure, and so on and so forth. And then there's also a service-oriented part of the Regionales Rechenzentrum with high-performance computing and quantum computing. And this is in the second storage of this house. And in parallel, there is a central research data management where researchers can store their findings permanently and sustainable, and where you can search for these findings which are not published, perhaps, or only partly published. And then there is a scientific methodology competence center of the House of Computing and Data Science, and this is our part where we provide methods for different sciences which can be reused and are provided for different matters. And on the top storage, there are the cross-disciplinary labs, and I will come later to it and say a few words about these cross-disciplinary labs. There we have 3 offers from the HCDS. It's the House of Computing and Data Science, it's shorter. For the scientists in the Universität Hamburg and the other universities in Hamburg and in the metropolitan region. And the first is the consultation in the Methodology Competence Center. I already said this. And there we try to clarify the research subject of some of our customers, I would say, and try to find out the methodology status quo in this application discipline, and to propose some methods which can be used to enhance the research. And therefore, it is important that at the House of Computing and Data Science are many so-called hyphenated computer scientists, which are partly informaticians, but have studied other fields. So we have bioinformaticians, we have business informaticians, so we can talk to other faculties and understand their needs, because if you're a pure informatician, you often have the problem that you have a different language to another research area. And there's, many of our time is used for understanding the problem and to really find the right solution. And as an example, in this Methodology Competence Center are some microbiologists which have computer tomography images of roots and have now the problem that they cannot gather them to get the 3D image of this roots. And so we connected them to some experts of computer tomography, and they could get their findings. The second is a service and third-party funded project. So it is possible for other research areas to have third-party funding and to come to us with a request and say, we have parts of our third-party funding, we can give it to you, and then we have manpower to develop methods or to do information-based research and or to do tailored project development together with this application discipline. Here's an example, this digital knowledge sociological discourse analysis, and this is a BMBF project. BMBF is a Ministry for Education and Research in Germany there a tool is developed by us for qualitative analysis of discourses in the humanities, and this is needed by cultural studies in different countries, so mainly in Africa, and yeah. This is a survey. And the last are the cross-disciplinary labs. There we have an interdisciplinarity at eye level. These are big projects over 3 years, and they are long-term, and a real interdisciplinary coordination, which is only coordinated by the House of Computing and Data Science, and we try to get a feedback or to get, in the end, new methods for our Methodology Competence Center for further dissemination to other problems. This is one focus of these interdisciplinary cooperations. So back to the Methodology Competence Center, we have also to do some teaching with students in order to get early to the researchers the idea of digitalization, I would say, and therefore we do teaching in the field of AI, machine learning, and software engineering, and so on and so forth. An example is perhaps Python, which is a programming language, and where the students and the young researchers can do little scripts and so enhance their research. And the other one is GitLab, which is a system to store your data, your research data, without losing any, and where you can follow the history of your data. And this is designed for everyone, so you have not to be an informatician or in some way a scientist with digital competences, and should have in different faculties. Then we have our consultation work. I just talked about it on digital research methods and application potential. And then we give implementation support or conception support of digital solutions. An example is the musicology, where song texts are scraped from the internet and then further digested in some research area. So I really don't know where they use it, but we had this. And the last is application of data science methods and analysis as a service. And this is what I said. If there's a third-party funding, we can get some of the money and do some of the work as service if the main research area is not able to do this analysis by themselves. Here you can see the scope of the Methodology Competence Center. Due to the time, I will just go very quickly over it. We have the general area with machine learning, tooling, scaling to large data sets, and stream processing. Then there's unstructured data, like audio or image data and text processing. And last but not least, the structured data, where we can do some optimization and mathematical modeling or big data analysis or such like this. Here you can see the idea of the cross-disciplinary labs in the House of Computing and Data Science. On the one hand, we have the digital methods, and on the other hand, we have the applying research area. And the idea is, why are this cross-disciplinary lab to connect these both areas and to do improvement and enhancement and research in both sides. So there's this example with inflation narratives. So to find some narratives in newspapers which point out to some inflation event and in the end are able to predict inflation due to the newspaper news. And this is done together by empirical economics and semantic systems from the informatics faculty. Another example is the cross-disciplinary lab called FLIGHT. This is a federated learning idea. There's mainly the idea is that large sample sizes are needed to train an accurate IA model. This is used in prostate cancer, and then there's they try to interpret the data without violation of personal data regulations. So, and this is where the federated learning come into, because there you can use privacy enhancing techniques and use data from different sources without showing where the source is and what's really in the data. So in the end, you have only the model and can, in this way, combine these different AI models. And this is really new to the informatics, but also in the research, in the application science. And this is in cooperations between different institutes at the Medical Center Hamburg-Eppendorf and the Center for Bioinformatics, in special the Computational Systems Biology. And my last example is the cooperation where COVID-19 vaccination uptake is predicted by messages which can be found on social platforms like Twitter. And this is a cooperation between the Hamburg Center for Health Economics and the English department. And this is done with real-world data from the pandemic, from Germany and England, to identify public opinion on COVID-19 vaccination. And then the uptake is in different regions is correlated to these Twitter messages by machine learning methods, and the aim is to identify strategies to increase the uptake of COVID-19 vaccinations. In Germany, for example, Bremen was leading in the uptake numbers, and they want to find out what's up with the people there and what their opinion to this topic. That is all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Catherine, for your presentation. our second speaker, Nikola Jovanovic, will be joining us online. He's the Vice Rector for Science and Art of the University of Novi Sad. Whenever you're ready, Professor, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation to present the ecosystem in which our university exists. First of all, I'll present you the ecosystem, R&I ecosystem of Republic Serbia, where our university exists. The biggest research centers in Serbia are universities, state universities. We have 5 state universities. University of Belgrade is the biggest one. After that, our university, University of Novi Sad, and the smallest university is University of Niš, Kragujevac, and State University Novi Pazar. Beside the university, we have a lot of private and state research institutes, which also present significant research and innovation potential of Serbia. All state universities and state research institutes are mainly funded by the government, and also from different kinds of projects, such as local projects, EU projects, and also cooperation with industry. At the local level, the Serbia government is funding some R&I projects through the Science Fund of Serbia and Innovation Fund of Serbia. Those 2 government agencies supervise publishing, national project goals, and grant distribution. The research institutions, university and the institutes also participate in a significant number of international projects funded mostly by European Commission. The University of Novi Sad is a leader in these actions. And the third important pillar of the our R&I ecosystem in Serbia is science technology parks. We have 4 technology parks located in Belgrade, in Novi Sad, in Čačak, and Niš. The science and technology parks provides workspace and technical support to small startup companies to develop their innovative ideas and turn them into products. Those parks are also place of technological development for world-famous companies. For example, in Novi Sad, we have located in our technological park Continental Automotive, Schneider Electric, ZF, Trilateral, Novalec, and other companies. These parks should facilitate knowledge transfer from academia to industry and increase a number of projects which are funded by industry, what is our goal. The University of Novi Sad and its members have close cooperation with industry. The leader is Faculty of Technical Sciences of BDSA, Faculty of Engineering, yes. The University of Novi Sad is also a good incubator, which generates a lot of spin-off and spin-out companies funded by mostly university professors. Those companies have also significant R&I potential, and they are very active in technology development. Here are the list of some companies, spin-off companies from Faculty of Technical Sciences. Regarding university structure, which is important for science promotion and of our R&I ecosystem, the University of Novi Sad has three main offices: Office for Science and Projects, Office for International Cooperation, and Public Relations Office. The main task of Office for Science and Projects is, of course, technical support to researchers in realization and monitoring of the projects. The Office for International Cooperation provides network with other research institutes around the world with multilateral and bilateral agreements and cooperation. And for promotion, the maybe most important is PR office, which promotes and disseminates all research activity at the University of Novi Sad with various media. Regarding promotion, it is also important that the University of Novi Sad organize special events for R&I promotion, such as Researchers' Night, Science and Education Festival, Science Fair, and contest for the best technological innovation. All those events are covered by our PR office and also local and national media. Important for science opening is also our repositories for scientific papers and PhD theses, which are public, opened for public. Sorry. Okay. Regarding the main players in the R&D ecosystem dynamic at the University of Novi Sad, first of all, this is Faculty of Technical Sciences. Faculty of Technical Sciences have a lot of innovation projects with or without industrial partners in the field of engineering, biomedical engineering, machine learning, artificial intelligence, control systems, computer science, robotics, and other. The second main player is in field of food engineering and food technology. This is mainly situated at the Faculty of Technology and Institute of Food Technology. Both these are members of University of Novi Sad and have good results in food technology at the world level. And finally, Bioscience Institute is the youngest part of University of Novi Sad. Sorry. Youngest part of the University of Novi Sad. And this institute is the leader in biotechnology, especially in the field of smart and sustainable agriculture. And at the end, I need to mention our Faculty of Science, which is a leader of research, innovation, and in field of physics, biology, chemistry, and mathematics. And it is very important that this faculty is the leader in science promotion with many events organized by this faculty or events organized by University of Novi Sad. It was everything what I prepared regarding our scientific ecosystem. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Jurganovic. Also joining us online, please welcome our third speaker, Paul Vegard Storheier, Head of Research, Administration and Quality Education Section from the Arctic University of Norway.
Yeah, thank you very much for having the opportunity to present for you the Research and Innovation System of Norway. It's not an easy task to do in 15 minutes, but I will try as best I can. So, Is it in full? No, it's like this. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I would like to say that in Norway, the education system it's free, so all are free to enlist and use universities. The state funding is also very strong in Norway, so we have about 75% of the funding of the universities are state-funded funding, and this is a very strong system for the education side. So most of the incentives, the strong incentives, are on the education side. It's not that strong on the innovation and research side, but the strongest factor on the research side is the participation in EU project that is very well incentivized. We are also independent universities, so we cannot be governed by the government, but we have like a framework that we need to follow in order to apply and to get the funding. This is a very complex system. I was drawing this yesterday and to try to say how the funding in Norway is. And so it's Stortinget, that is the Parliament of Norway, and they are funding a lot of ministries. Our main ministry is the Ministry of Education and Research, which is funding most of our activities. They also fund the Norwegian participation in Horizon Europe, and they fund most of the Research Council of Norway. This Research Council is the only research council that we have, and the other 14 ministries also fund within their areas. The Ministry of Education and Research also funding the Innovation Norway, which is an agency also that we get funding for innovative projects. We also have very close collaboration with the regional health authorities. It's 5 different regions in Norway. And UIT has a university hospital that is situated on one of the biggest campuses that we have in Tromsø. And of course, we have a lot of research institutes also that also constitute a large part of this system and that we collaborate a lot with. The last I would say is that we have technology transfer offices, and most of the universities has their own TTO office. So in order to explain how our strategies are shaped, I would like to say a little bit about the global trends that we are seeing. So we see, of course, like you, digitalization, climate change, aging population. There's a large increase in competition for funding. The globalization is hitting us. When I was a student, there was much less international students, also less international staff. And also the collaboration internationally is growing very much. We also see, of course, what you all see, that geopolitical conflicts that we have now, and this is affecting who we could collaborate with and how. There's also misinformation that is something that is driving how we are acting as a university. And a new thing that we've discovered is that the nostalgia is also something that people tend to do because they are not liking the situation that is now, and they don't like the prospect of the future. So they tend to look backwards now. So if you look more at the national and regional area, we see here in Norway that is very little private funding. So most of it is like the Research Council and the ministry. We have reduced state funding the last years, and it's because the state financing is decreasing, and so we are seeing that we need to compete more for resources. There's also, when you are in Tromsø, you're very far away from everything, so there's long distances, so that also comes into place. If you look at the industry that is surrounding us, they are mainly small and non-science-based industry. We have, of course, industry that is based upon the research that the university does, but they are quite small and they're often bought by bigger companies, and they are not locally in this region. This region is growing in terms of economy very strongly, and there's very little unemployment. So the need for competence and work power is very strong. So we compete for clever heads and talents all the time. And we all want to attract to this region then. There was also a change this year that the tuition fees for students from outside of EU and Switzerland was implemented. And this is new for us. So now this is a barrier for us to attract students from outside of Europe to a large degree. And being a university that is basically on the border of towards Russia, we have had a very quiet and peaceful border. Some of my staff are working just 20 kilometers from the border. But all of this collaboration that has been built after World War II has ceased now, and there's not very much of trust between the two states. And this is affecting us a lot. So I have presented this before. The three pillars of our strategy is that we focus on the Arctic and the High North, the major societal challenges, and the talent development and diversity. And I think this is very important, the latter, in order to attract talent. So we also working on Quora, because this is a way to make our staff grow. And we are now creating this called UIT CAM. That is, how are we going to train and develop our employees in the best possible way? We have also had a large project now that are implemented now, which we call UIT Talent. And it's about instruments that seek to increase the amount of external funding that we can attract on all levels. So we have instruments for all career stages and towards different kinds of instruments and funding mechanisms. So this is around 10 million euro a year we use in order to grow. And then the last of these strategies that I will mention here is that we have a lot of campuses. And that's because we have a very important role for the region also. And we think it is a positive thing for us to be close to where things are happening, so that you can provide education all over. And of course, it looks like it's very small, but this is a very long country. So our campuses is more than 1,000 kilometers apart. Then when it comes to the international strategies, we are focusing mainly on how to increase the number of proposals for UIT, for Horizon Europe. And that's because we have very high success rates, and we think that we have potential to do more if we increase the number of proposals. Of course, we are also working on the quality of the proposals, but when we have 37% of success rate in Pillar 2 and 43% in Pillar 3, I think that we could increase the numbers. And the competition within Norway is very strong, so it's actually, in my opinion, more easy to succeed in Europe. We also have in at national level something called the panorama strategy, which countries we should focus on outside of Europe. And now, of course, Russia is excluded from this. And we use EUGLO and other networks that we are working in and parts of as a way of influencing policies, and also, as you have been talking about earlier today, how to learn about how to do things better. We also believe that open science is the way forward, and we have been working a long time with how to have the right infrastructure, and also to how to shape the policy of Norway and also of Europe when it comes to science, open science. And finally, I would like to just have an example, because it's very hard to explain all the different strategies in a way, but one thing in how we solve this with distance, because we are far away from the big markets, we are far away from big pharma, and how can we do this? So this is an example from biotechnology, where we are harvesting marine animals and plants, and then we are analyzing their composition, and we're looking for molecules that can be used in industry and so forward. And so we have a cluster, and I think this is an important thing to have these clusters of industry, and most of or a lot of these industries has been created at the university, and they are now a bigger family for us that we collaborate with in biochemistry. So we use infrastructure then and to harvest these creatures and plants. And then we take them back, and we have this Marbank, which is a national bank. which are storing and preparing this, and we are starting then to have this large biobank that was built up during like 20 years or so. And we had centers of excellence that have been working on these and to find all these different molecules that we can use. We have been moving away a little bit from medicine and more focusing on enzymes and stuff because it's shorter way to the markets. We have a platform that is called MarBio, which is screening for activity against various things, antibacterials, anti-cancer, antifungal, and so on. And this is a shared platform. It is a UIT platform, but also the industry is using it. Then we have this problem because when we have screened the molecules, we don't have the access to the industry in the same way as many of you have, which are more centrally located in Europe. So we have started collaborating with Max Planck and their lead discovery center. They have also infrastructure that we don't have. So we are screening the most interesting molecules through their platform. And when it comes out on the other side, it is then easier for us to have talks with the industry, and because they have this network that we tap into in this way. So this is a strategy for us that we are far away, but we can lean to partners and use their network. And so the system is kind of like this. Research Council and European funding instruments is also very important, of course. And also our TTO office is then helping us all the way. So, so this is just an example, and I would like to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Paul, for your valuable contribution. We now welcome the fourth and final speaker for this session, Sandra García Gallego, Director for Internationalization of Research from the Universidad de Alcalá.
Thank you all, and also thank you, the organizers, for inviting us to present our research and innovation ecosystem of the University of Alcalá here in this forum. And I will continue a bit the presentation that our Vice Rector for Research and Transfer presented yesterday, Professor Francisco Javier de la Mata. But focusing a bit more on the transfer part of instead of the services, more the strategies that we are focusing on this aspect. So I just repeat this slide because I think it's also too important to know which is the environment that we are, the ecosystem that we are using in our university. As we have centralized all the research and transfer aspects in our university, and this means that we cover all the services for all the faculties in our university. So just imagine that this is a really big task. But I think it's easy for us to have these services quite centralized because we can help out more or less everybody at the same level. So if we focus on the research management service, yesterday we also mentioned that we have different units and sections to cover these aspects. But I would like to focus also on the European Projects Office and the Research Results Transfer Office in this session. So here, just briefly, I present the website of the Research and Transfer section in the University of Alcalá website. So you can see that we have different information regarding the different calls that through we support our researchers to all the research they are performing in the university. And also, we have a technological portfolio of our researchers is also presented here, so it is easy for companies or external institutions to access the IP that we have in our university and the knowledge and experience of our research groups. We also have the different calls, the Research Results Transfer Office, and the different aspects that all of them, they belong to this Vice Rectorate. So if we focus on this European Project Office, just to give a small overview of our task in this office, we have 4 people working in this office, technical people that they are helping out in this task. And I guess that is similar to the ones that they are in other universities, but we centralize this information to the researchers for the different programs, calls regarding Horizon Europe and any other program within Europe or even in a worldwide perspective. We also we are trying to push and promote the different involvement of researchers in our university to access and participate in different calls. We also help out with the negotiation of the grant agreements, the contracts, and the participation of our researchers in the different consortia, and also in audit preparation and economic justification. I think it's also nice to say that between these 4 people that they are working in our office, we have one person that is directly working in Brussels, so he can help out from the different point of view and just be quite close to this decision place, so they can promote also our researchers in Brussels. Regarding our participation in different calls, I just will briefly mention our participation in Horizon Europe. So this is the overview of the program with different actions, Pillar 1, Pillar 2, Pillar 3. I want to just focus in briefly that we have experience in most of these pillars and different programs just in Horizon Europe. So you can see between the 6 different clusters, we already have funding in 5 of them. So this is a point of view that we cover different areas and we are engaged in different fields. So it's interesting, and we also bet for the interdisciplinary knowledge and knowledge exchange between these factors. Regarding our research results transfer office, we have 5 different units that cover all the process between the release of an idea from the research group and also to the commercialization of that idea or the generation of a spin-off. And in this case, our mission is promoting and enhancing this research activity, not only with the knowledge transfer regarding IP issues and so on, but also with the dissemination of these activities and the communication to the general audience. And also we serve as a link between the university and all the socio-economic environment that is around us, that we have a lot of companies around, and especially in the pharma industry, and we have a close relationship with them so they can know our expertise and our knowledge. So here in this knowledge portfolio, we can also show in our website the different areas. So we have experience and we have knowledge and IP results on different areas like health or infrastructures, economy, TICs, chemistry, and so on. So we have a bit of everything that is nice to promote, and I think through the website is an easy way to showcase this knowledge. So as I mentioned, these 6 units, they are working in the transfer office. We can cover all this process between the idea generation of one of the research groups that belong to university. So the unit that is in charge of the IP protection, they will help out with all the process to cover and protect this IP. And also the different unit, they will go and promote this portfolio and help us not only with the dissemination to the general public, and also to engage in different science fairs and markets so they can help out with this transfer. And also 2 other different units in the office can help out with connection with this IP information and promote it between different companies of the different sectors, or they can also help out in the development of different spin-offs. This has been also mentioned yesterday, that we have another pillar of our work is the use of research support centers, what we call CAIs. And we have 4 different support centers in different fields, such as medicine and biology, chemistry, and biotechnology. But I will not focus there because yesterday was already quite explained. And this slide was also presented yesterday regarding different research institutes that belong to our university and other institutes that we have a really close collaboration with them. I just want to mention and highlight a bit our collaboration with 2 different institutes. What we have here is Instituto Ramón y Cajal de Investigación Sanitaria, Health Institute that is in Madrid, and a number of researchers from our university belong to this institute. They work in any of the 2 places, but they belong to the 2 institutions. And we have a really close collaboration with them, and we share different goals. For example, we promote the collaboration and the projects where 2 different groups from the 2 institutes they participate, so we can bet on this collaboration and going further. And also this institute, another one, a health institute, in this case is the Castilla-La Mancha. It's the other region that our university, we have 3 different campuses in 2 different regions. So in this case, this is a really recent health institute that has been developed, and we also have we have researchers participating in this health institute. So for us, it's really important, this kind of collaboration that we have. Regarding the different initiatives that we promote in our research and innovation ecosystem, of course, I don't think that I have to spend so much time talking about this initiative. But for us, it has been a really good opportunity to be now a member of EUGLO. So we are trying to do our best to be there. A second initiative, I think that for us is quite important, is that we also have been, we have signed this agreement for the Coalition of Advancing Research Assessment. I have been checking the numbers, and I have seen that as today, the date of today, there has been like 644 signatories of the different institutions and universities and organizations in Europe, which is really interesting because in just 1 year it has been growing a lot. So in our case, we are also betting to be engaged in this initiative, also in Spanish chapter that is involved in this initiative, to try to change a bit the way that we evaluate the research, the researchers, and even the research institutions. So we'll see. We are starting on this initiative, but I think it's going in a good way. And also another initiative in this case is related to the Madrid region. It has been also recently developed. I think it's just 1 year old, something like that. We have now the clusters of innovation, technological innovation and talent in Madrid. And in this case, we have 4 different clusters, and in University of Alcalá is participating in the 4 of them. One of them is the biomedical technologies and biotechnology. Another one is semiconductors, digital humanities and Hispanic technologies, and space technology. So you can see that there's also a broad different areas in these clusters. And which is the purpose of the clusters? They are trying to promote the connection between universities and specialized centers in these fields, and also companies that is a way of creating like a network to bet and to start participating in different proposals and collaborations, creation of new companies, or even the transfer of knowledge from these institutions, from especially universities or institutes, to companies to develop further the products. So I think it's also a really promising strategy, but it's also quite new, so we'll see how it will evolve over time. So for my side, nothing else, and thank you. You're welcome if you want any question from me.
Thank you to all speakers for these engaging discussions. We will now break for lunch and networking. To everyone joining us virtually, we will resume at 2 p.m. in Portugal and 3 p.m. in Central European time.